portions of this show have been pre-recorded.
Yeah. It's a podcast rebroadcast. All of it is pre-recorded.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Stand by to receive our transmission.
It's the last show of the year. It's the last show of the year. It's BK on the air. Hello, everybody. It's the Christmas show. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year early. We're taking off. We're taking off next Saturday, both Alan and I, so we won't have a show on Christmas Day. We're going to stay at home, open presents, eat food, open presents, eat food. Watch people open presents, open a few ourselves, eat more food, and whatever, we can get by with. We're going to have a Christmas. This is my Christmas show today. We did some Christmas stuff last week, so today we're going to do some more Christmas stuff. And earlier in the studio, we both exchanged Christmas gifts today. We both get each other, stuff for Christmas. Alan and I sometimes buy things for each other that's better than what other people buy for us. I don't know why. It's like, people, don't you know me? I mean, come on. People that have known me for 35 years get me things that maybe aren't as poignant as what Alan will get me. It's like, because we know each other, we know our interests, we have the same stuff. We like our. Like
I told you last show when we were on mine, I get mad because I'm like, well, I want this.
Yeah.
Which means I know it's perfect for BK.
And also, we had our WBHF Christmas party yesterday at Mellow Mushroom, and thanks to everyone who put that together, especially Kevin Carroll here at the station. And Mellow Mushroom always treats us right every time I go there. It's a great place to hang out and have a nice piece of pizza, whatever we want. But we did the dirty Santa gift giving thing, where you draw the numbers and stuff. And it did funny, depending on what part of the United States you're from is what it's called. It's like, that's white elephant. Oh, yeah, dirty Santa. I know. It's the same thing. Yeah, right. Like in England, we're going on a holiday. I'm like, no, you're going on vacation.
Right.
You're going to eat a cookie. No, it's a biscuit. But we had it's great. I actually walked away this year with something better than just a refrigerator magnet, which is really nice. I got something. I'm like, oh, I like this. I got something, a gift card. So that was cool. And you wound up getting something great too. So
I did.
It was a fun day all the way around.
And
I was number one to pick of all the numbers to get. Oh, I'm the first one. I don't want to be number one when it comes to this. I'd rather be number one in other reasons.
I still would have liked to have stolen the gift I stole from you initially. I would have loved to have kept those.
Sure, that would.
A couple of lead crystal.
You would like those, and you had a couple stolen from you, and it was frustrating.
It was very frustrating.
But it was fun. We had a great.
Poor Lee, though, he had probably the most stolen gifts.
Oh yes, one of our the big guy here at the station. He had to get up. He was getting a workout.
Mr. Burgermeister
getting
Burger.
Up to go. He's like, I got to get up again. I got another one stolen. So, but it's a Christmas show today. We're going to be Christmas heavy with, and I'll warn you, we're Gen Xers. I mean, we're. I was born in the '60s. Alan was born in what year were you born again?
70.
You try to forget 1970. So you're right in the 70s, but you still fall within that Gen X.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we're Gen X.
So we're going to talk about.
We're not boomers. Jeez,
no, parents are that. Yeah, we're going to talk about some of our favorites instead of doing our list this year. I just thought we'd just bring up and talk about, some of our favorites, Christmas songs, some of our favorite Christmas movie and television. Sometimes they're TV movies, sometimes they're TV specials, or sometimes they're theatrical films in entertainment. And I'm going to single out, like I do, I think I've done it before, but what the heck, it's been a year, everybody forgets. I'm going to single out what one year I got some of the best Christmas gifts. I just remember this one year as a kid getting some of the best gifts that I've never forgotten, and I think it was one of the best
I know my
Christmases
favorite year as a kid.
So good. So we'll talk about that too coming up. I'll play some of our Christmas songs, little snippets here and there of some of my favorite songs. A version of "Oh Holy Night" that I love that just makes me cry. I mean, I love that version of "Oh Holy Night." And also, by the way, and I don't know how I went all these years and didn't know this. Now, it's one of the ones I'm going to talk about in the show today. The TV movie Rankin Bass, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, a staple. We love it. We love the songs. We love the claymation animation that's in it. It's just, to me, it's just one of my, if not my favorite. It goes, and we'll talk about it. It switches back and forth for my number one favorite movie of Christmas. It shares that with A Christmas Story. I mean, those two, they battle for number one. I love both of them. There's a segment, do you know, when Yukon Cornelius, when he throws the pickup in the air and it lands in the snow and he picks it up and he goes,
right.
He tries to taste it. Why do you think he did that?
I, as a kid, always thought he was trying to taste whether or not there's silver and gold in the snow.
Because he could taste silver and gold, we thought. Yeah.
Right.
Did you know that's not the reason he did that in the movie? And it's...
What?
It's since not. I think it's in the Blu-ray and DVD version. They put the original. It's completely restored to its original form. But for years, that's what I thought too. When he threw that pick up in the air and it hit the ground, and he picked it up and tasted it, and he usually said nothing. So that is not the reason why he did that. It was a completely different reason. And I'm have the story today. I have
this many years old when I figure out why that was.
And I've just got you by a few days. I was just a few days before this many years old when I found out too, because it was always the versions we watched. You and I watched as kids on television. I don't think had that. It wasn't that original version of the movie. It was edited here and there, and for some reason they lost that element. And I don't know why. When you find out what the reason is, you're like, well, why did they take that out? That's not I don't see how that could be offensive to anybody. I know he wears a revolver.
See, I'm surprised they still play it for that reason.
And well, when you buy, I think in certain circles now, when you buy either an ornament of Yukon Cornelius or his figure, he does not come with a revolver.
Oh, of course not. Why would he have the silver revolver?
No, he doesn't.
His Colt.
But yeah, so I've got the reason he does that. The axe licking scene in Rudolph from Yukon Cornelius. By the way, my nephew Jake, he's in his mid-20s now, but he's gotten to where he's like, oh, my nephew, I remember when I used to ride you on my shoulders, and we used to play in the yard and stuff like that. Well, he's like 7 feet tall now, but he has like this. If you were to put a toboggan on his head, he's got a beard where he would look just like Yukon Cornelius.
Oh, wow.
Now, like, Jake, why don't you just dress up as Yukon Cornelius for either Halloween or better yet, Christmas for your kids? Yeah, and bust into your daughter's bedroom and go, hey, did you clean up your bedroom? Hey, oh, nothing. Do the same thing and be disappointed like, oh, nothing. You didn't clean it up. So
nothing.
Just in the side there, he looks just like him, which makes me feel old now that he's so tall and big. And
just update it instead of your pickaxe, throw your lawn jart into the air.
Yeah.
Then nothing. Oh, darn.
That's funny. I got an Andy Griffiths Christmas story we're going to talk about, and I teased it last week, but I didn't get to talk about it in any detail. The Back to Hogwarts Harry Potter reunion that's coming up on HBO Max. I'm going to talk about that.
Yay!
And one of a beloved film that you and I know and love has been added to the National Film Registry of the United States. They take those films they think are poignant and worthy
of cultural significance.
Yes, of culture, which means we'll never be in it. And so why would we be? And they put another film in the National Registry. Epcot has started early ride testing on their new Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster at Epcot. So that's something to look forward to. We'll talk about that. There's a new movie. Well, there's an old movie that came out in 1985, I think, that was supposed to be America's answer to James Bond. And it's now available as a special edition on Blu-ray. Believe it or not, directed by an ex-James Bond director, too. Oh, Ohio siblings doing Christmas collections. 101 things we miss about Christmas of the 70s, 80s. I got all kinds of stuff here. Merry Christmas. I'm never going to get to it all.
It's good at toy stores, appliance stores, jewelry stores, sporting goods, music stores. It's Master Charge, good in more places for more gifts than any other card. And best of all, it lets you stretch out your payments. So this Christmas, don't worry. Relax. You've got Master Charge.
Snow time, winter time, Christmas time. The time of sugar plums, Santa Claus, and at last those lovable children from Peanuts. Enjoy a Charlie Brown Christmas. Meet Charlie Brown, Schroeder and Beethoven, Lucy, and that impudent hound, Snoopy. Here comes Charlie Brown now. Listen.
Thanks for the Christmas card you sent me, Violet. I didn't send you a Christmas card, Charlie Brown. Don't you know sarcasm when you hear it?
Be here as your favorite comic strip comes to life. This year, enjoy a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. In 1964, the production company of Rankin and Bass released what was to become the king of its stop-motion animated Christmas classics. It took an entire year and a half to create one of my favorites, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which has aired on primetime television every single year since. Besides the great animation for the time, another powerful aspect of this special was the memorable music soundtrack. In an ironic twist, all the Christmas songs were written by a Jewish composer, the incomparable Johnny Marks. His holiday music genius didn't begin nor end with this special, which included the popular Burl Ives versions of Have a Holly Jolly Christmas and Silver and Gold. Marks originally wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in 1949, which was then recorded by the cowboy crooner Gene Autry. In 1956, he wrote the music for the classic I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, popularized by Bing Crosby. A couple years later, he brought the lovable reindeer character into the world of rock and roll by writing Chuck Berry's Run, Rudolph, Run, and that same year, Brenda Lee's Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Many of the singing greats, including Nat King Cole, have all covered Johnny's wonderful Christmas music. And although Johnny Marks passed away in 1985, he and his music are immortalized by this animated special and by lovers of holiday music in general. This is Pat McCormick with your Retro TV Trivia from the Golden Rage of TV. You can also find me on YouTube and Facebook at Golden Rage of TV and on Twitter at Golden Rage of TV1. And now back to BK on the air.
Thank you, Pat, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. On my list, by the way, when we talk about things later, TV and movie productions that we like for Christmas. But we've got somebody on the line right now that's a very good friend of the program and the other 50% of the Wilder Ride podcast. I don't know, is he 49% and you're 51, or is he 50?
No, he's an equal shareholder.
Is it 50-50?
It's an equal shareholder.
Okay.
50-50. We split it right down the middle,
shares in the
but I get
Wilder
the bigger half.
Thank you, Jerry Reed. Thank you very much.
I get the work, I get the editing, I get the marketing.
It's Walt Murray. Walt into Darkness is calling in. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, guys, how are y'all?
Merry Christmas!
Christmas. Happy birthday.
Merry Christmas. Well, I was a much bigger part of the Wilder Ride, so I got a Peloton this year, and I'm a shrinking part of the Wilder Ride.
Hey, I'd rather lose the weight than gain it. That's for sure when it comes to
Season 5 is going to be the season subtitled The Incredible Shrinking Co-Host.
Let's hope that's true.
That's okay. That's
well,
all right.
I just wanted to call and say happy Merry Christmas to everybody, and particularly to y'all. People always ask if we're friends off the air, and yes, we are. And so I just want to make sure y'all got a good Merry Christmas, and I guess Happy New Year.
Well, you started to say Happy Christmas, and you can say that. They say that in England on Harry Potter. Happy Christmas,
yes, well,
Harry.
And I hope that everybody has a happy and Merry Christmas.
There we go. Walt, I'm hoping you mark your calendar for the first day of the new year, because I'm going to need you in at 7 a.m. to be a crutch for me.
I'll be happy to do that. I may have to sleep there.
The night before.
We'll make it through somehow.
Yeah, see, I figure if we get 2 or 3 people in here, we'll be able to stumble through 5 hours and go back home and recover.
If we sleep here the night before, that's New Year's Eve. We'll just do a New Year's Eve show like we do Halloween and just deck out here.
Yeah, there you go.
Unfortunately, I have already had my New Year's Eve scheduled. I won't be home till probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, we'll do a show. You can call in.
Oh no, I'll be here.
If you have a minute. No, I mean New Year's Eve.
Well, we just have to make sure that those first, the 7 to 10 is a very quiet show.
It's going to be either that or we'll just bring in more of the hair of the dog that bit us.
Right. Exactly.
Well, it's really going to be a new year for you, Walt, because a lot of new things are happening with you in your life, and I wish you all the best on it, and it was great to see you.
He's going to have the best Christmas ever.
It was awesome seeing him the night of the Sanders
the San
Christmas,
Monaco.
The Christmas Halloween party. Yeah, there's a lot of masks.
It was the Nightmare Before Christmas
That's right,
Halloween
Nightmare Before
party.
Christmas party at Alan's house. Yeah, that was fun, yeah.
I always like to surprise everyone.
Good. Well, that was a surprise.
It's a very good surprise.
You tried to surprise me, but your significant other beat you to it.
Yes, she did. She's very good at that.
Well, let me ask you, Walt, since I got you on the line, we're going to talk about Gen X stuff today, and you fall right into that category with us. If I put you on the spot and say, hey, what's your favorite movie or TV show, Christmas production? If you had to just pick one, what would be your one favorite that you had to watch?
Well, I think I keep going back to this, and I know it's not Alan's favorite by any stretch, but I love Christmas Vacation. And I love the humor, but I also love that there's some real good, poignant moments in it. You know, when he's watching the old video or the old 8mm films up in the attic and remembering his childhood. And I go back to that every single year. That's not like your feel-good movie, but I love Christmas Vacation for so many reasons.
Well, I got the top 20 best Christmas movies as ranked by Entertainment Weekly, and we'll check the list later on and talk about it, and we'll see if that's on the list. I don't know. It might be. I can't remember. I had such a short memory. And one piece of music. What's your favorite Christmas go-to song or piece of music that you absolutely love to hear every Christmas?
Every Christmas, it's Oh Holy Night.
Oh, Holy Night. Oh, yeah.
That hits me in just in such a unique way, and it's such a great Christmas hymn song.
Yeah.
And it just is a great reminder to me of what we're celebrating.
Well, just stay tuned today because I'm going to play my favorite version of it that brings a tear to my eye. And I think
it brings
you'll enjoy
a tear to everyone's eye.
I think that you'll enjoy it.
All right, guys. Well, Merry Christmas again, and I will talk to you soon and look forward to living through the New Year's show.
All right. See you, buddy. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Merry Christmas.
2 weeks.
Merry Christmas. or a Nightmare Before Christmas. Making Christmas.
Making Christmas. You know what?
So, yeah.
Oh Holy Night is my favorite religious Christmas song.
Right.
Love it. And then, ironically, talking about Rankin and Bass, Holly Jolly Christmas, Burl Ives, one of my all-time favorite
song.
Non-religious Christmas songs.
Well, you brought it up. We started talking about it with Walt on the line. We'll just go ahead and start it right now because we've got time here as we approach the bottom of the hour. We still got some time. Christmas music. I mean, for a while I worked in the mall, and I've talked about how I finally have able to enjoy Christmas again after working at a mall many years ago and having Christmas hold me hostage for about 4 months, listening to songs and seeing decorations and stuff. And it made me jaundiced against, you know, not against the commercialism of it and stuff. It kind of just bugged me. I didn't hate the season, but too much icing on it. If you have all icing and no cake, you're not going to like icing anymore. That's what it wound up being for me. But now I'm starting to getting back in. It only took about 25 years for me to purge that out of my system, but I really like it now. And I think some of my favorite Christmas music, I can't name everything that I love, but these come to mind if I'm going to listen to some Christmas music, these are always going to hit the play button for me. Andy Williams from 1962. I'm going to give the year of these things, too. 1962, Andy Williams did a recording of It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year. And for me, that's one of the best, if not the best, Christmas song that there's ever been. Different people have recorded it, but when that opening of that song, I know immediately that it's that version.
The swelling of the orchestra.
And you hear it, and then his voice comes out of nowhere, and it's just the first line of the song is the title of the song.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a fantastic Christmas song, and I know you like that one,
Hard to argue that one. I couldn't remember the name. For some reason, it was like escaped me. I'm like, it's
Alan's
about the mall, about the snow and the tree.
Andy Williams song. That's what it is, right? The Andy Williams song. But that's a great one. That one battles for me for the next one I'm going to talk about for my number one spot. Leroy Anderson, an American classical, believe it or not, it's considered classical music composer. Wrote a little ditty back in 1948. That's how old this song is. It's an instrumental, but I think they put lyrics to it much later after it was written. It's the song. It's just called Sleigh Ride.
Great,
and everybody remembers that song. It's the song. It's a audio representation through music of riding in a sleigh drawn by horses.
It's perfect. Even when they get the trumpets to whinny at
like
the
a
end.
horse. Yeah, I mean that's perfect. Yeah,
it's perfect.
And you hear the bells jingling when the bells are jingling on the sleigh ride. I love Sleigh Ride, and there's been so many recordings of that song. I think the most popular recording of it that gets played most of all is the version by Arthur Fiedler and the Boston Pops Orchestra. And if you know, for years, the Boston Pops was just a Pops version of the Boston Symphony Orchestra. And for years, Arthur Fiedler was the conductor, and everybody remembers that name and how he looked like Albert Einstein almost when he get up on the podium. But later on, John Williams took over the Boston Pops, which was a very coveted position. You can't just be anybody to take them over, and he was in that position. And we know why he got the job, because John Williams is awesome.
Yeah.
By the way, when it comes to music.
Hard to argue that.
Right. Keith Lockhart went on to succeed John Williams, and he was great, too. Sleigh Ride by Leroy Anderson. Fantastic song. My third piece of music that I think that I love the most when it comes to Christmas, and I can listen to this one any time of the year because it's classical. And you and I haven't delved a lot into classical music. I know that we both like it. I like a whole lot of classical music. I've been listening to it since I was a kid. But it's by my favorite. If you had to choose your favorite, I never asked you this before. I can't believe we've talked music for
I think
so long.
you know who mine is.
Who's your favorite classical music composer? I don't want your favorite Christmas thing,
Right.
but who's your favorite classical
Beethoven.
music composer? Is it Beethoven? Okay, well,
Without a doubt.
He's the musical god of thunder. That's for sure. When it comes to
Love Beethoven. I think
bombastic
probably
sounding music,
on the heels would be Tchaikovsky.
It's funny you should say that. Tchaikovsky's my favorite. I mean, he wrote stuff that I just think he's the king of classical melody. Was Tchaikovsky, and he has some great.
I hear
pieces of music.
soundtrack every time I play it. It's like this is what to me. I have images in my head when I listen, and
Tchaikovsky and Richard and Wagner is that way too.
Yeah.
Very very soundtrack sounding. Yeah, but yeah, my favorite, my other one of my favorite pieces of music for Christmas to listen to is the Nutcracker, and not the Nutcracker Suite. I want to listen to the entire thing, because to get the Nutcracker on CD, you usually had to do a two CD set to it, because there's a lot of music to that ballet. But it's really one of those works. It's music to a ballet that you're supposed to watch, but it's really one of those works where you take it away from the ballet and listen to it. You don't have to see this. You can actually listen to this music, and it works.
The pieces
divorced
move.
from the performance.
You feel like you're moving through this magical land,
Sure.
and each land has its own theme.
Yep. And it's one of the most pieces taken from it are some of the most iconic Christmas sounding stuff. The Dance
Everyone
of the
in the
Sugar Plum
audience
Fairy.
probably knows most of it from commercials, from television, from movies. It's often reused.
And it's a fantastic piece of music, and I love the Nutcracker. And if you've never seen the Nutcracker perform, go at least see it once during a Christmas season.
It's a cool story.
I've seen it 3 times at the Fox in Atlanta, and it's an amazing thing to watch. The production, what they do, and everything, along with the music. It sounds great with a live orchestra instead of canned and recorded. It's Christmas. It is the Christmas show. We'll continue the Christmas talk and stuff and the memories. And I do have other regular stories. Spider-Man No Way Home opened in theaters. I'm going to go see it tonight. And James Install from Geek to Me Radio will call within the next 15 minutes or so to review it. Speak on there.
We'll return after these messages.
He might not know what to do with all the crazy gifts he'll get this Christmas, but he'll sure know what to do with Old Spice cologne, or an Old Spice nautical decanter, or one of our many Old Spice gift sets. Old Spice. He'll use it, enjoy it, and love you for it.
Yogi Bear and the gang join Casper and Harry Scary for Casper's Christmas Wish. Then a dream come true makes the holidays extra special in a family circus Christmas, Tuesday.
Hey, we're back. It's VK on the air. I want to tell you about Cartersville Bicycle Service and Supply. Right now, they've got a great holiday offer for you from now until the end of the year, which is not far away, by the way, so you need to get on the stick with this. If you purchase a new bike at Cartersville Bicycle, you get to a limb helmet for free. These helmets retail between $40 and $100. Lots of styles, colors, and sizes to choose from. Doesn't matter what size your head is. They can take care of it. If you got a big head like me, they've still got over 300 bicycles in stock, too. Don't forget that, and there's still time before Christmas. There's no restrictions and no minimums on that deal, by the way. They're located at the corner of West Avenue and South Tennessee Street, right down the road here from downtown. Open 7 days a week from 7:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. Call them at 470-315-BIKE. That's 470-315-2453, or just search Cartersville Bicycle on Facebook. Cartersville Bicycle. Enjoy the ride, baby. That's right. Merry Christmas to everybody. It's BK on the air. It's time that we're going to flash the audience of the news, the weird, the strange, and the bizarre. And I got a few Christmassy things mixed in here with these news flashes. I got the first news from UPI. A health official in Queensland, Australia, had her COVID-19 news conference interrupted by a large huntsman spider. Now, this is Australia, so it's not a surprise that it's Australia. Queensland Health Minister Yvette Daff was conducting an outdoor news conference to discuss the need for business to comply with the recent vaccination policies when someone pointed out there's a large spider on her podium. Quote, okay, can someone please get that spider off? Unquote, Daff asked. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe the spider doesn't like their COVID restrictions in Australia. I know I don't like them. So maybe the spider was making a point. Chief Health Officer John Gerard attempted to shoo the huntsman spider away with some papers, but the officials soon lost track of the arachnid. Boy, there's two things you don't want to lose track of, especially if they're loose in your house or near your person, is a spider or a snake. Don't lose track of where it went because you don't know where it is now.
It was just here.
The spider was spotted by her feet, but eventually wandered away. Huntsman spiders are large, remember, and can carry a painful bite, but the bites are not considered dangerous to humans, thank goodness. Well, it still hurts. I don't want to get bit by it. But, Mrs. BK came downstairs one day without her glasses on and saw something at the bottom of the stairs in our home. And she goes, did he leave his belt? Did he take his belt off and leave it down on the floor? No, once she put her glasses on, she noticed, it's a big snake in the house. How it got in there, we will never know. I think it was just a king snake or something. It may have gotten in through a basement door being left open or something. But she started kind of swooshing that thing around with a...
She burned the house down?
She almost did. Tore it down with a broom to try to get it. She's like, I can't let this thing get away from me. It crawls up in the couch. That's it. Yeah. That couch is going to the dump. I'm not going to be able to get it out. So I thought that was funny. She thought I put a rubber snake on the floor before she got out of bed. Thought that's what it was at first. I'm like, honey, would I do that to you? What? That doesn't sound like something I would do. Does it?
Sounds exactly like something you...
Come on, really? Well, I guess it does.
I got the next news.
I have to add a sound effect to it over the recording, too, I guess.
Boom, 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 boom.
Shh, I strike. You come down the stairs. I strike.
Oh, yeah, you could be like, what's his name from Jungle Book?
If you hit me with a broom, I strike.
Is it? Oh my gosh,
I can't see. We can't think of
this
anything.
This is not
anymore.
A good thing for
it's
us.
not. It's not Nagini, is it?
Nagini is from the Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, but it's I can't remember. All right, while you go do the news flash, I'll find.
I'll do the let me do this first. This is more important.
This is ridiculous that we can't think of this.
Why can't we think of the snake's name?
Somebody's screaming it right now.
From UPI, police in Ohio said they are on the hunt for an unusual piece of stolen property, an entire 58-foot-long pedestrian bridge.
Somebody stole a bridge.
Someone has stolen the bridge.
Wow. That's amazing.
The Akron Police Department said the bridge formerly served as a pedestrian walkway along the Little Cuyahoga River in Middlebury Run Park, but was moved to an open field as part of a wetlands restoration project. Police said the city had planned to repurpose the bridge in a new location, but they recently discovered the $40,000 bridge had been stolen from its temporary home. Investigators said they believe the bridge was disassembled and taken from the field piece by piece. Quote, the bridge is almost all polymer, I'm told, and really just connected by some bolts. So if you have the equipment, sockets or anything like that, it wouldn't be very difficult at all to start the process of disassembling it. Police said the bridge has little recycling value, so they suspect it was taken by someone who just intends to use it.
Wow. Okay, so they disassembled it. They just didn't pick the whole bridge up and go, hey, honey, I got you something for Christmas.
The fact is, it's a 58-foot bridge. Nobody noticed it getting shorter and shorter over the period of weeks.
Piece by piece. Just like Johnny Cash stealing the car one piece at a time. No one will ever miss it. Did you know someone actually built that car in the Johnny Cash song once? They took a piece from every model of that car in that song that he mentions and built one of them for real.
Wow.
I'm like, there's one you could put at the Savoy. Is the Johnny Cash car. By the way, the snake's name, the cobra's name in Rikki Tikki Tavi is Nog, N-A-G.
Oh, you were thinking Rikki Tikki Tavi. I'm thinking Jungle Book.
And Rikki Tikki's a great movie, too. It's not a Christmas movie, but do you remember who animated Rikki Tikki Tavi? You've seen the movie several times, right? You know who the chief animator artist of that film is? It's Chuck Jones from Warner Brothers.
Is it really?
And you look at the eyes and the expressions, and you're like, it looks like a Bugs Bunny look and stuff like that. I got the next news. From UPI, a Welsh woman who started collecting Christmas bauble ornaments in I'm sure if I'm funny if it's called baubles in England. We call them
B-A-U.
balls. It's like,
not bubbles.
All right.
Baubles.
She started collecting them in 1999, has now earned the Guinness World Record with 1,760 bauble pieces. Sylvia Pope, a Swansea resident nicknamed Nana Baubles is her name, told Guinness World Records her collection of Christmas balls began after seeing someone else's festive decor. Oh, someone else sparked her to collect them. Pope's collection of Christmas baubles earned a Guinness World Record this year when they officially counted at 1760. She said that ornaments hang from the ceilings inside the home, with more decorating the exterior of her house. She's got them everywhere. Pope said that she expects her collection of bauble ornaments to top 2,000 next year. She said her collecting centered on making the holidays magical for her family. So at least she's blaming it on them. You're the reason I'm collecting these baubles, by the way.
Definitely the most wonderful time of the year, probably year-round for her.
Yeah, I mean, she's not just for Christmas. She'll work on it all year and just display them for a while. I wonder when she puts them up, in July? And leaves them out until February? I don't know.
It's just crazy.
Put your baubles up already. Come on.
Well, she is from Wales. All they got is sheep and, I guess, thyme.
That's where my mom's family's from.
From Wales?
My mom's family's Watkins surname, and they're from Wales, yeah. So I got a little bit of everything.
All right. Well, let's move along. I've got the next news.
According to Ancestry.com, that is. That's it. So, yeah.
A British strongman with multiple Guinness World Records for balancing heavy objects on his head got into the Christmas spirit by balancing a chimney pot complete with smoke.
See, there's another. That's Christmas. Chimney. Santa comes down the chimney, so I thought I'd throw that one in there, too.
John Evans, age 74, of Ixton, England, donned a Santa suit and balanced the chimney on his head for a Tuesday morning appearance on ITV's This Morning.
It's pretty big, too, by the way.
Evans said he used discarded pieces from demolished buildings to build the chimney for his balancing act. Evans tossed a pair of smoke grenades into the 8-foot chute to give the effect of a functioning chimney during his act.
Wow.
Evans holds dozens of Guinness World Records for balancing objects on his head, including 13 kegs of beer, 2 girls on bicycles, and 300 loaves of bread. The strongman said he plans to set his 100th Guinness World Record on his 75th birthday this coming March.
Wow, that's awesome. It's chimneys. Santa comes down the chimney. It always reminds me of
3 with lots of presents for my baby and me.
I still remember the story that Phoebe Cakes tells in Gremlins about her dad coming down the chimney.
Oh, stop.
Drinking.
Well, there's something in the chimney, and it hasn't moved a bit.
That's terrible. Because you're watching Gremlins, and it's this fun Gremlins movie, and all of a sudden it just comes to a halt with this story about her dad dying, coming down the chimney and getting stuck. That's terrible.
Long.
That's terrible. We got the last news.
There won't be Santa this Christmas.
That's terrible. They even make fun of it in Gremlins 2.
Can't give up now. Washington didn't give up. Lincoln didn't give up.
Please.
What's wrong?
Oh, don't mention Lincoln. Something terrible happened to me one year on Lincoln's birthday. I was 6 or 7, and I remember I had the day off from school, and Mom had let me go to the park. She'd made me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I was going through that peanut butter and jelly sandwich phase. And this man with this beard and a hat looked just like Abe Lincoln.
Honey, I really don't think
we've
got time for this now, you know.
I remember, God, he said, hello, little girl.
Honey, come on.
They just took a shot at the first film scene.
I remember being shocked at that story.
That was just so out of place.
It
And
was
just
like,
horrible.
whoa, that took a heavy turn.
Yeah. From UPI, a wildlife rescuer in South Africa was summoned to a home in which a family found something in the branches of their Christmas tree. Do you want to take a guess what they found? Good guess. That's part of wildlife. Yeah, it was not a squirrel. Want to guess again?
An owl.
An owl. That would be cool. With the Harry Potter reunion coming up, that would be cool to find an owl. No, it was not an owl.
Okay, I'm out of guesses.
It's in South Africa. It was a venomous snake in the tree.
Ooh. I didn't know the snakes would call that home.
They do. Jerry Hines, owner of reptile rescue services Snakes Lives Matter, said he was called... Snakes Lives Matter. He was called to a home near McGregor in West Cape area, South Africa, when the resident spotted a venomous boomslang in the tree. I didn't know that was... I've never heard of that snake, a boomslang snake. I guess it's venomous, whatever it is. Himes said he arrived at the house 90 minutes later to find the snake still slithering in the branches, and he posted a video to his business YouTube channel showing how he captured the snake with a pair of specialized tongs. The rescuer later posted a second video showing the serpent being released into the wild. Himes said the incident marked the first time he had ever been called to remove a snake from a Christmas tree. So, Merry Christmas.
Probably wouldn't touch that snake with a 29.5-foot pole.
Or a 3-foot tong. Hey, do you like Christmas thongs? Let's think them thongs.
I like Christmas thongs.
Peek out there. We'll take a break and come back.
An entire evening of Christmas specials, starting with The Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
I must stop Christmas from coming.
Followed by Frosty the Snowman.
What's the joke? The snowman can't talk.
Finally, Patricia Neal and Richard Thomas.
What is that?
The Homecoming. See The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, Frosty the Snowman, and The Homecoming. Friday, December 12th at 8, 7 Central.
Oscar the Grouch and the Muppets visit CBS for a special Sesame Street Christmas with wacky ghosts, guest stars, and more. Friday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Well, Steve Miller, Abracadabra, perfect time to tell you about Rockin' Shop and Eddie Bruce right down, just a few doors down here from WBHF in downtown Cartersville. They've got vinyl, they've got rock and roll. I call him Mr. Rock and Roll, by the way. They've got collectibles, T-shirts, maybe some license plates of some old Atlanta rock stations of past that you might want to get. Any specialized present for a person, a gift for Christmas, you can go down to Rockin' Shop, or anytime go down and pick up what you want. It's Rockin' Shop, your rock and roll headquarters in downtown Cartersville. 770-386-1450 is our number. Hey, it's BK on the air. Hello.
This is James.
James Install from it's Geek to Me Radio from the big KTRS 550 up in St. Louis, our radio partner. By the way, I want to thank you for coming on during Halloween on our Halloween show. We're broadcasting on the same stations at the same time. Thanks for helping us out for Halloween night. That was a good time.
That was a lot of fun. I appreciate being part of your broadcast as well.
Well, you're part of it today, and the reason you're calling in today is you and I were talking this week after you went to see Spider-Man No Way Home. You've seen it already. I'm going to go see it tonight. You're going to give us your impression and favorite spoiler-free review today of Spider-Man No Way Home, the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is, I think, just breaking records already, and it broke the internet with ticket sales. How about it? What about Spider-Man, James?
Yeah, the hype is real on this one. I got to say that not only is this now my favorite Marvel movie, it's also my favorite Spider-Man movie, and I've got to say it is my favorite comic book movie ever.
Oh, okay, that says a lot. Not only is it, you said favorite Spider-Man movie, favorite comic book movie, and favorite MCU movie, that checked a lot of boxes for you.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it's got to be one of those things, too, because I know they put a lot into this, so if you're... Hopefully you've seen all of your Spider-Man movies going all the way back to 2000, because they touch little bits here and there and pay homage to the Tobey Maguire movies as well as the Garfield movies with the things they do and the things they bring up.
That is great that they've decided to do that, and Alan and I were just talking this week about how much there's not many movie reviewers that we trust, but we think if we were to name the person who reviews movies that we agree the most with, it's James Install. Isn't that right?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Alan will agree with me on that. He'll second that.
James, I was telling BK yesterday, and it blew me away, because Variety tends to try to figure out how to tell you why every movie sucks. Even they had to say that they were sort of amazed that you were able to put a film together that ties together all of the loose ends from all of the previous iterations and yet still tell an entertaining story.
That's exactly right, too. And I think last I checked, this is one of the few films that have been out recently, to my memory, that has had such a high critic and audience review. I think the Rotten Tomatoes review is 95% right for the critics and 99% for the audience reviewers.
Wow. And what a stroke of genius for Marvel to do that. I mean, Spider-Man is one of those properties that they sold off back when they were in danger of going bankrupt. Marvel did at one point, believe it or not. They're certainly not now because they're under the Disney banner. But at one point, they sold off a lot of property. Spider-Man was one of them. They didn't sell them off in the comic books. They still make the comic books, but the movie rights and whatnot are completely different, treated differently. And Sony kind of owns that. Now they're partnering with MCU and Disney to kind of share the profits, which is a good move for Sony, I think, to do that, because their standalone films that aren't connected to the MCU don't tend to do all that well. But what a great way to say, hey, you know those other movies with Spider-Man and the other actors and stuff like that and the villains? They really happened. They were just in another universe, and we're going to kind of show you why and why that happened. I think that's great that they did that.
Yeah, they did. Like I said, I'm trying to be very careful not to give away any spoilers or anything for people, because I hate when people do that to me. But I'm actually not even writing my review until next weekend just to give people time to get out and see it because it's hard to talk about the film without spoiling little bits of it. So it is one of those things, though, that I will say that fans of the MCU are going to like it. But if you are a fan of the other Spider-Man movies, it's especially going to resonate with you very, very, very hard. It's going to resonate very hard.
I read a review online that didn't have any spoilers in it, but this guy says, I'm agonizing over writing this spoiler-free review. I liked it. Basically, the whole movie is a spoiler. He's like, it's almost the whole film is like, I can't hardly talk about anything about it, which happens. Well, that's good to know. We're going to see it tonight. I know Alan's eventually going to see it. And from everyone that I know that's seen it, including you, James, has said this movie is a lot of people are going, 10 out of 10. It's great. It's fantastic. And I have to kind of water that down with my brain a little bit because I'm like, come on, people say things are the best ever, and sometimes it's hyperbole. And I will know everything. I will know everything you know tonight, probably after around 8 p.m. because I'm going around 5 or 6 o'clock to see it, and I'm looking forward to it because, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. What a great day and to be alive and be a comic book fan because they're chunking them out, and a lot of them are of quality entertainment.
Absolutely, and this one is by far this is the first comic book film that I can think of that I've actually given a 10 out of 10 to.
That says a lot, James. That carries a lot of weight. Well, I appreciate you calling in and reviewing things for us every time. And, again, thanks for coming on the Halloween show. Just remind everybody out there as we wind down here where they can find you and hear you and when you're out there and when you can be heard.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Geek to Me Radio, Facebook.com/Geek to Me Radio. And, of course, if you're listening in the greater Cartersville, Atlanta area, you can, of course, hear me at 10 p.m. Eastern on KTRS.com/stream. We're going to have a special George Perez celebration tonight with writer Ron Mars, artist Rick Burkett, and we'll have a bunch of other people. I believe you're going to call in as well.
I will. Artist George Perez, we know he just announced his cancer diagnosis, and it's not good. We're praying for him. And great artist that we love, and I will call you and check in with you tomorrow and share some of my favorite George Perez art memories. I'm a big fan of his. James, as always, I appreciate it. Thanks for being out there, and I will talk to you on Geek to Me Radio tomorrow.
Thanks for having me on. We'll talk again soon.
All right,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye-bye. James Install from Geek to Me Radio on KTRS, the 550, Big 550 in St. Louis. Well, hey, for him to say it's his favorite Marvel, favorite superhero, favorite Spider-Man movie, that says a lot. So, in the trailers that I saw, I'm like, I'm really looking forward to this. I feel like a kid again with these Marvel movies because today, while I'm sitting in that seat waiting for the movie to come up, I'm just going to have that. I get those feelings that I used to get when I was younger, when I'd go see a Star Wars premiere or an old movie
Peter
premiere.
Tingle?
Yeah, my BK Tingle is flame broiled, and I get all warm. And I have to look down. I'm like, I'm getting all warm. I have the heater seat.
Whopper.
I have the seat heater on. I need to turn that off. Those reclining seats.
I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Spider-Man was always one of my favorites growing up. I loved the cartoon as a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of the first comics I started to collect when I started to collect comic books. I loved it probably because it was the closest to my age that was being portrayed on the pages.
Teenager, yeah. Spider-Man was the first comic book I ever bought with my own. I had 75 cents in my pocket, and I went and back then comics when I bought this issue I think was 30 cents was the cover price. And it was on the Look Kids comic, big metal rack in the grocery store that I would go to, a little independent grocery store where my mom would buy all of our groceries. It even had a meat section in the back. There was a butcher in the back of this grocery store, and she bought fresh. Got hamburger meat from him. It wasn't prepackaged. He cut everything fresh. It's just the way you did it back then, at least where we lived. And I walked up front. I'm like, comic books. Wait a minute, Spider-Man. I've heard of him. I used to watch that. I watched that cartoon, Amazing Spider-Man versus the Mind Worm, issue 1. I think it's 128 or 138. And I picked that thing up, took it home, and read it. I was hooked. That was it. The first comic book I ever bought, as much as a Captain America and Superman fan that I am, the first one I ever bought was Spider-Man. And he is one of the most iconic superheroes that's ever been invented or thought of. And he came along late, believe it or not. I mean, that was the resurgence of Marvel, and their popularity just took off in the early 60s. Superman and Batman are back from the 30s with DC Comics. They were much older than that. But Spider-Man, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, those Stan Lee creations didn't come along until the early 60s, 61, 2, 3, somewhere in there. And He's definitely, I mean, teenager, and they didn't even want to do the comic. Stan Lee goes, I got a great idea for a comic book. He's a teenager. He has problems. He has an awkward life. He's a nerd, and he has troubles and problems, and he gets bit by the spider. And they're like, that's never going to work. Superheroes are like Clark Kent. He's a superhero, but when he's not, he works for a metropolitan newspaper called the Daily Planet. He has a wonderful personal life, and he's always perfect, white teeth all the time. That's what superheroes are. He's like, no, we got to – this is Spider-Man, trust me. And they're like, what? Spider-Man? That'll gross everybody out. No one wants to see a half spider, half guy or whatever. Boy, were they wrong. Yeah. They were wrong. Amazing. The last issue of Amazing Fantasy comic books was Spider-Man's first issue, and then it turned into the Amazing Spider-Man, and the rest is history.
We mentioned the cartoon. I even liked when he was just a silent figure on Electric Company.
Right.
He'd have like little things where he would just
word
hop
balloons.
in and he'd be like, ah.
Right.
And then even what were the 70s movies? They did 2 or 3 live-action made-for-TV movies.
And then they turned it into a TV series, but didn't last very long. Yeah,
loved those as a kid. Yeah. I just thought it was the coolest thing.
It's Spider-Man.
And I don't know why. I don't know why of all the comic books, why would that? And I think it has to do with the age. It has to do with like I can identify with this teenager
kid in school, struggling.
That with all of his abilities, all of his strength, his powers, keeping us safe, he still gets picked on in school and doesn't know how to approach girls, and he's just. And I'm like, I can so relate.
Right. And no one was split over Superman whether he was
not the hero part.
No one was split over Superman whether he was a hero or not. Spider-Man, half the people hated him. Oh, he's a menace. He's really a criminal. In the newspaper, J. Jonah Jameson was trying to make his life pure heck. And even as a hero, he struggled.
Well, he's doing it in the MCU, too.
He is, that's right. No matter what versions you're watching. 770-386-1450 is our number. Hey, it's BK on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's Brian.
Hey, Brian, how you doing, man?
All right. The reason that me and you and Alan, all of us, really got into Spider-Man was the fact that all of us been around the same age. We had the 60s cartoons readily available for us to see on either weekdays or Saturdays, depending on what kind of setup you had with your TV.
And, buddy, I watched it every afternoon. Yes.
Yeah, but you know what, Brian? I had Iron Man cartoon, I had the Hulk cartoon, I had the Submariner cartoon, I had Thor. Spider-Man still stood out.
Those that you're talking about out of the 60s, those I didn't get to see until I was probably in the late 70s before I even seen those. I didn't even know they existed.
They didn't syndicate them everywhere. Yeah.
Put them on. Oh man, I lost my mind.
I was lucky where we were because I caught them all.
They were great. We couldn't identify with being the God of Thunder. We couldn't identify with the Submariner being underwater. We could identify. We're right with the teenage boy with the problems, and donning the costume and becoming a hero and being thankless for it. Sometimes he'd do something and everybody's like, they wouldn't even thank him. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, he got no respect. We identified with that. I was a nerd in school. I was more of a geek. I was a geek in school. I got Peter Parker. I got him.
You know what though? The lessons too.
You know the biggest problem Spider-Man had and faced that we never got to see was when he had the outbreaks of acne.
The acne. Well, yeah, that's true, too. You have to battle that, too. Yeah.
I know we're coming up on the top of the hour.
We are, yes.
That's the reason I called you, because I've got a question that I need to hear off the air from you.
Okay, ask it.
I think he wants you to talk to him off air.
Oh, off air. Okay, well, then I'll talk to you off air.
Last thing I'm going to say is the piece of advice that always stuck with me, and still to this day, even when they retell the movies, is with great power comes great responsibility. I've always loved that as a mantra for anybody that's in power.
Well, have you noticed they haven't used that line in the MCU Spider-Man
They haven't,
yet? But I understand the line might pop up in this new movie. I understand. So take that to the bank and check that out. Speaking on there, we're going to take a break, top of the hour. But when we come back, we're going to hear the Christmas version, the Christmas installment of the Star Wars Extra. They're here to do Christmas for us, and I think you'll enjoy it, talking about Star Wars, another genre that we love, another cinematic universe that we love. And we'll have more Christmas talk and memories and on this day in history, and more Christmas stories. I remember a lot of it from back then. I haven't forgot any of it, so I'll never forget it.
Spider-Man, where are you coming from, Spider-Man? Nobody knows who you are.
'Twas a bit before Christmas, and all through the house, nothing was stirring, not even a... I ran to the kitchen. What could it be? Christmas crunch from the cabin to me.
This crunch is special to make breakfast merry. It's loaded with yummy red and green crunch berries.
Very sweet, delicious.
But it's only here till Christmas. Christmas Crunch is a merry part of this balanced breakfast.
Now Captain Crunch has every kid on his Christmas list.
Wow.
One secret present on each box of Christmas Crunch, from the captain to you.
Merry Christmas!
Deck the halls with M&M's, M&M's, and M&M's. Entertain with M&M's, M&M's, and M&M's. Give 'em as a holiday favor, M&M's, M&M's, and M&M's. Fill your shopping days with flavor, M&M's, and M&M's.
M&M candies. The milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hands.
M&M's and M&M's. WBHF.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
Welcome to Star Wars Extra. Star Wars then, Star Wars now, Star Wars forever. I'm your host, Mike Mann.
Hello there.
2021 has been quite the eventful year in the Star Wars universe, proving that it is truly amazing time to be a Star Wars fan. The year began fresh off with the finale of The Mandalorian Season 2, where fans were treated to Din Djarin uniting Grogu with a Return of the Jedi era Luke Skywalker, along with the announcement of the upcoming The Book of Boba Fett series, thus setting the bar extremely high, and fans were absolutely not disappointed. Some of the highlights from the past year include Star Wars The High Republic, a new storyline beginning 300 years before the events of The Phantom Menace. The High Republic tells the tale of the Jedi as they expand throughout the galaxy, only to face a menacing new adversary, the evil Nihil. The High Republic is told through various literary media, with plans to expand to live action and gaming platforms. The Bad Batch. First introduced in the Clone Wars Season 7, Special Ops Unit Clone Force 99 try to find their way in the galaxy after the rise of the Galactic Empire, joined by the only female clone of the Jango Fett template, Omega. The Bad Batch are on the run from the bounty hunters, the Empire, and even one of their own brothers. The Bad Batch Season 2 is currently in production with a possible 2022 release. Star Wars Visions, a collection of various Star Wars-inspired standalone stories told through major anime productions. Originally set as the first anthology series released in its entirety, the success of the Visions series has led to too much speculation and jibber-jabber about yet another season of uniquely detailed Star Wars-infused stories. And most predominantly, 2021 has been the year of the Fett. After the announcement of the Book of Boba Fett series at the end of the Mandalorian Season 2 finale in 2020, the previously untold story of the journey Fett embarks on to deliver the carbonite frozen Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt unfold through the War of the Bounty Hunters comic book crossover series, preparing fans for the highly anticipated release of the Book of Boba Fett live-action series, December 29th, streaming exclusively on Disney+. That's all the time we have. This episode was written by Droidlag Media exclusively for Star Wars Extra. Before we go, the creative team at Star Wars Extra and Droidlag Media would like to thank Barry at BK on the Air for broadcasting the latest and greatest in Star Warsing, and you, the listener, for tuning in. We wish everyone a simply amazing and safe holiday season, and we will catch up with you on the other side in 2022. For Star Wars Extra, I'm Mike Mann, and now back to my Santa Claus, BK on the Air.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Thank you, Mike, for that Star Wars Extra. I feel like Santa Claus. That was very nice.
The Carol of the Bells is one of my all-time favorite Christmas tunes, but the way they had that mix reminded me almost like Duel of Fates version.
The Sith caroling of the lightsabers, the dueling of the lightsabers.
I liked it. That was good.
It was good. 770-386-1450 is our number. It is BK on there. It's our Christmas show today. It's our last show before the end of the year and the last show before Christmas. We won't be here next Saturday, but we'll be back on New Year's Day. It's BK on there. Someone's on the line now.
TV fan.
Oh, it's Pat McCormick from the Golden Rage of TV. I just listened to his Christmas thing, and he's calling me live on the air. Merry Christmas, buddy.
Speaking of ding-dongy dong.
Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
or Ricky Ticky Tavi, something.
That snake. Yeah.
Well, BK, will you be my Santa Claus too?
Yeah, I guess.
There's only one person in this three-way conversation qualified to be Santa.
Pat, you can sit on my lap and tell me what you want for Christmas. I can oblige. Yes, sir.
Great. And Alan, I've got your elf costume ready to go too, so just be prepared.
I just want to be a dentist.
But it's a short costume, right? It's not a very big one. So
why I'm the elf. That goes without saying, Barry. When have you heard of giant elves?
If you want to be Hermie from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, his voice was done by the guy who did the Spider-Man cartoon. So there's your Spider-Man tie-in right there.
Hermie now has a career where he's actually making good money.
Paul Soules. Sorry, I misspoke. It's not Paul Frees. It's Paul Soules that did his voice in the Spider-Man cartoon and Hermie. Yeah, exactly. Paul Soules, who's actually in The Incredible Hulk as the pizza store owner. Yeah, the movie The Incredible Hulk.
Man, you're so full of trivia. I don't know.
No, just
glad he said trivia.
You added too many words there. I'm full of it. You just stopped. You're so full. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you checked in with us today, Pat.
Well, that was it.
That was it? Okay.
That's it. That's all it was.
I'm done.
Okay.
I wanted to say Merry Christmas to you guys and to all the listeners that support you guys and have been supportive of me. And I heard Walt Murray call in a little earlier. And hey, Walt, Merry Christmas to you and to everybody involved at WBHF. It's just been a great run, and I've enjoyed every week with you guys. And so...
Thank
you. Everybody out there in Georgia and Cartersville and Georgia and everywhere, Merry Christmas from sunny California.
And we are happy to have you on board, Pat. Thanks for being a part of the program. I look forward to getting those Golden Rage of TV segments for you every time you send me a batch, and I love it. Thank you, buddy. I consider you a brother from another mother in another state.
That's true, and I feel the same way about both of you guys. So anyway,
when you're allowed to travel, come see us.
Yeah, come see us. When you travel out and head toward Georgia, we're going to meet up and have a good time.
It's going to happen. Pie, coffee, and scotch.
Scotch.
Okay.
Lots and lots of scotch.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and yours, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, buddy. Bye, guys.
All right, bye-bye. Pat McCormick with the Golden Rage of TV. It is Christmas, and we're going to take a break now. That was perfect timing. Pat knew how to do that.
Farewell, Aviters, and goodbye.
It always cracked me up at the end of that, because as a kid, I would do part of that song, because there's a little bit of an accent when they go, to you and you and you.
To you and you and you.
I love that. I love that. Hey, another Spider-Man tie-in. The oldest boy in the Trapp family kids is Nicholas Hammond, who played Peter Parker in the 70s CBS Spider-Man show.
Spider-Man is everywhere.
That's Nicholas Hammond.
I like it.
And I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't seen it yet, but if I'm watching Spider-Man No Way Home tonight,
created a Jurassic Park.
Yeah, if Nicholas Hammond as Spider-Man shows up too, I'm going to just have a cow.
It's the Nightmare Before Christmas toy collection.
What's this? It's Jack. I am the Pumpkin King. And look, I'm going Christmasing. What's this? The werewolf's howling and Sally's losing all her arms and legs and things. What's this? Santa's giving presents. Evil scientists are bright. Lock and shock and barrel trick or treat throughout the night. The mayor's kind of two-faced. Behemoth's got an ache. And inside Oogie Boogie, you'll find worms and bugs and snakes. What is this?
It's the Nightmare Before Christmas toy collection. Each sold separately. Background sets not available.
What does a youngster look for in a Christmas toy? Fun, excitement. What do you look for? Same thing, of course, plus something else. Call it value. Here's a brand new toy that has both. The new Texaco jet fuel truck. Looks just like the real trucks you see at airports. It's built big and rugged, so your youngster can ride on it. And an exclusive steering mechanism makes it the most maneuverable toy truck you've ever seen. It's hard to outgrow a toy that's as much fun as this. But what about value? Well, the Texaco jet fuel truck is built of heavy-gauge steel and made with a beautiful eye for detail. Best of all, it costs $4.98, though it compares to trucks costing 2 and 3 times as much. Charge it on your Texaco credit card. It's a great Christmas present for any boy or girl. And it's only at Texaco, where for fine quality products, trust your car to the man who wears the star.
Hey, we're back.
Double episode.
I know, the triple episode. We're on fire here. I'm the fireball. I'm a fireball. Christmas
Every
fireball.
advertiser say we don't want to be on BJ's.
No,
what
not
are
today.
you talking about?
On this day in history, December 18th, I'll go through this quickly because there's a lot to talk about. 1892 on this day in history. We just talked about it earlier in the program today. Today in history, Tchaikovsky's ballet premiered in St. Petersburg, Russia. On this day in history.
How cool is that?
On this day in history, 1956, December 18th. To Tell the Truth debuts on CBS TV, another cool little game show when a guy was coming out and say, I'm Alan Sanders. No, I'm Alan Sanders. I'm Alan Sanders. And all the panelists asked them questions to determine who the real person is. That's a good show. 1963, the Pink Panther film premieres, directed by Blake Edwards on this day in history, starring Peter Sellers, music by Henry Mancini. 1964, a year later on this day, the Pink Panther cartoon premieres. The episode called Pink Fink. What's the name of the episode? That's P-H-I-N-K, Pink Fink. 1966, on this day in history, I was born, the year I was born, but Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas aired on CBS for the first time on this day in history. Listen to all these on this day in history. Today in 1968, on this day in history, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang premieres in theaters. There's another one, not really a Christmas movie, but a staple that we watched every year when it came back around in rotation on television. Today on this day in history, 1976, the year of the bicentennial, Wonder Woman premiered on ABC TV on this day in 1976. See how many things happen on this day? Sometimes I get like boring days, but this one's crazy. On this day in 1984, my personal favorite version of A Christmas Carol, the movie, directed by Clive Donner, starring George C. Scott, premiered in the U.S. on this day in history. It was a cable show. It was a cable movie premiere. I think it was on Showtime when it first showed up. To me, I love the story of Christmas Carol. Mrs. BK is a little tired of it. She's like, if I see another Christmas Carol or Frankenstein film, I'm so sick of those stories. But I love that story that Charles Dickens wrote about A Christmas Carol. Totally, story about redemption, at the end or whatever, what happens to Scrooge. Right. But for some reason, that version from 1984 is my favorite serious version of it. Now, Scrooge is a funny movie with Bill Murray, too, Scrooged. By the way.
Forgot that Richard Donner directed that.
He did, yeah. And Clive Donner directed this version of A Christmas Carol. Today in history, 1991, DeForest Kelley, our Dr. McCoy himself, received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on this day in history. 1996, I can't believe this is the year this happened. On December the 18th, 1996, the U.S. TV industry execs agree to adopt a rating system for television programs. Up until 96, they didn't do that. 1997, on this day, Chris Farley died of a drug overdose at 33 years old. As Paul Harvey would say, he was forever 33. Here's one for Alan. 2002, a movie premiered on this date in history.
I know.
Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers premiered on this day in history today.
It'll be tomorrow, 20 years ago, that the first film...
20 years ago. Those don't seem that old now.
In
they
2001, really the first movie came out on December the 19th of 2021.
You got to admit, they don't
2001.
They don't feel that old.
No, they don't.
They really. Now the books are old, but the movies don't seem that old.
So good.
And one more movie premiere today on this day in history, 2015, Star Wars: The Force Awakens premiered on this day in history, December the 18th.
Which was a fun
2015.
Romp. Wasn't great, but it was fun return. It was much better than the prequels.
I liked it. Birthdays today, Roger E. Mosley's birthday today. Does that name ring a bell with you, Roger E. Mosley?
R.E. Mosley, regarding Mosley. Nope.
He was on a detective show that we just talked about last Saturday. That's T.C. from Magnum P.I.
T.C.
Roger Mosley is his birthday today. Today is Keith Richards' birthday from the Rolling Stones. He's 178 years old. Today is Steven Spielberg's birthday today, believe it or not. A director that I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with him. Can we all just kind of move on and say that I was right when I predicted that West Side Story would bomb, and it seems to be bombing right now as we speak? Listen, that's West Side Story bombing right there. You can hear it. It's just, I knew it would. I don't know. I just had a feeling, and it's not doing that well. Today is one. We talked about really trusting James Install's movie reviews. Well, out of the professional critics, I did have a couple of favorites. There was a guy on Showtime named, or was it? His last name was Harris, but he was a movie reviewer on the Showtime cable network in the 80s. The movie. I trusted him. I liked his movie reviews. Bob Harris, I think was his name. But there's another one whose birthday today. I always seem to trust Leonard Maltin's opinion, too, sometimes. He was one of the best evenly keeled movie reviewer that I ever would watch. Siskel and Ebert were like the big kings of that, but they were like, they'd get abrasive, they'd argue with each other, and I tend to not really agree with them on a lot of things, but Leonard Maltin was one of the better movie reviewers. I think
what Leonard Maltin did is how I look at reviewing movies, is you first have to recognize, all right, this movie falls kind of in this kind of universe of movies. Now let me look at it within that context. Now, I'm not going to compare Amadeus to Star Wars. Like, they're two separate.
And
Star
I like
Wars
that.
stand. And I think he would do that. He would keep it more real. Like, if this is your kind of movie, let me tell you why it was great for this kind of movie.
Right. And
why it didn't
if a movie wasn't, a movie doesn't have to be Academy Award winning every time to be a great movie. It can be a great movie, again, for other reasons. It doesn't have to win Academy Award for everything. Today is Ray Liotta's birthday, another one of my favorite actors. The guy can just do no wrong. He's great in anything he's in. I mean, Goodfellas, Copland, two of my favorite roles by him. He's great. And today is Brad Pitt's birthday. Do you know that I never was a Brad Pitt fan? I just could not get into the guy. I'm like, yeah, he's just not that great. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's the pretty boy thing with him or whatever. I just never could get into him. But when I saw him in the World War II tank movie Fury, I think that's the best performance I think he's ever given, in my humble opinion.
He was great in 12 Monkeys, though.
Yeah, he was good in that, too. That was kind of like his first breakout different role, I think.
He was
he did, which
trying
I
to do
was good.
something quirky and
but
different.
If you've never seen the World War II tank movie Fury, please watch it, because it's not only is it a great movie, it's a great Brad Pitt performance in Fury. Directed, believe it or not, by the guy who directed Suicide Squad, the first Suicide Squad, which he's a good director. Suicide Squad just didn't have a good script, I think is what it was.
Well, what do we say about James Gunn? His sequel or his remake didn't work either.
It didn't really work either, did it? And today is National Twin Day today.
Does that mean I get to go find a couple of the twins?
I don't know. That's up to you. I mean,
or I have to sleep on a twin mattress for saying that.
Or no, you won't be even sleeping anymore. I think you'll be
just stay here. I was safer.
You won't be here anymore. You won't be here any longer. You'll finally find out what on the other side looks like in Poltergeist. I'm like, Alan will go off to the other side. And
or that line in Tombstone. You know how they say that you see a light at the end of the tunnel? They lied. I ain't see nothing.
I didn't see a dang thing. Well, it is Christmas, and I'd like to celebrate it with a little bit of Christmas music. So let's hear. I don't know if you ever heard this or not, but it's
"Oh Holy Night."
It's make it. It's not make it so. It's not make it snow.
Oh,
it's make it so.
Oh,
Merry
make
Christmas.
It so.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, make it so. Make it so. Make it so. Man, it doesn't show signs of stopping. And I brought me some tea Earl Grey hot. The lights turned way down low. Make it so. Make it so. Make it so. When we finally kiss good night. How I hate going out in the storm. But if you...
Really?
Shut up, Wesley. All the way home, I'll be...
warm. Oh, the fire is slowly dying. And my dear...
We're still goodbye, then. But
As long as you love me so, make it so. Make it so.
make it so.
Make it so. Not let it snow, but it's Star Trek. You have to make it so.
You know, I'm always impressed when people can take the time and effort to isolate individual sound bites and make it work.
Or make it so.
Make it so.
And you know what's funny is if we
Shut
had
up, Wesley.
if we had the time to do that, I think we could do it too. But we just have to have the time. No one understands how much time it would take to do that. I have to find every one of these words somewhere in an episode of this show,
right,
to make it so, make it work. But he did, and it's great. Merry Christmas to everybody. That's not on my Christmas song list, but make it. Let It Snow is a good song, though, for Christmas. We could actually
Love
put
Let
that
It
one on
Snow.
there. That was good.
The classic Let It Snow.
I know that we talked about our songs. I'll move into the movie and TV stuff now. Some of my favorites. And again, this is not all of them. I just did like 2 or 3 biggies, and I know Alan's got his too, and we'll talk about those too while we creep up to the bottom of the hour here. On this commercial light BK on the air. Thank you for that Christmas present. I appreciate that. I don't know what happened, but I appreciate it. Even when it's a mistake, I love it if it's in my favor.
It's in your favor.
Movies and TVs.
May the odds ever be in your favor.
I told everybody that it was in the anniversary is today of A Christmas Carol by George C. Scott. Now, if you've never seen it, I think there's how many movie TV versions of A Christmas Carol is there? I'd have to just go on. I should have looked that up.
If you just want to talk about
but
being
there's a
done
lot
in
of
TV
them.
shows and
or
sitcoms,
movies.
dozens and dozens and dozens.
Yeah, but you got to have I remember seeing the original one from the 30s. There's one from the 30s, one from the 50s. And then there was even a version called An American Carol with Henry Winkler playing a Scrooge character in old man makeup. They had that one. Then they did a remake of it, I think, on the USA Network once with Patrick Stewart playing Scrooge, which he's another great actor. Then they did. They have the comedy version of it with Bill Murray, which is actually it is the story just told in a different way.
Oh, how do you skip the Muppets though? That is still one of my all-time favorites.
With Michael Caine, but Michael Caine. Isn't he also in the musical version of it called just Scrooge?
I don't know. I do know.
Thank you very much. Or is it Albert Finney? I think that's Albert Finney.
That might be the Albert Finney.
Yeah, that's Albert Finney. Yeah,
the Muppets Christmas Carol.
It's great.
Just perfect.
It's one of those later Muppet things they did that didn't suck. Because a lot of the later Muppet things are just not as good as the old stuff for obvious reasons.
Because it works for the kids. It keeps the story. Michael Caine acts his butt off in it.
Oh, he does. He's great for a Muppet movie, and don't degrade it just because it's a Muppet movie. Yeah, that's right. He's great in it.
It's phenomenal. I think that was the first time they introduced Rizzo the Rat as a character.
Rizzo.
That's awesome. I'm going to have to go watch that this week.
Christmas Carol from 1984. If you've never seen it, if you've seen all the other Christmas Carol versions, try the one. It's available streaming. It's been remastered on DVD and Blu-ray with George C. Scott. And you're thinking George C. Scott is Scrooge? He's not.
He's perfect.
But he's great as Scrooge. And there's one part where Cratchit. You remember the scene where Cratchit's talking to, his nephew comes over to visit him in his office, Scrooge's office. And he goes, he's trying to convince him that Christmas is good. Please come over and see us to visit with us, Uncle. We'd love for you to be there.
If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Come now, Uncle.
Neville, you keep Christmas in your way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone, then.
It's like he tickled himself with the notion.
Taking joy in thinking of that.
Could you imagine putting people into boiling
It would be so during Christmas. Oh, God.
Now that's a night by the fire.
That's right. When the ghost of Christmas Past, when Jacob Marley especially comes to visit him as a ghost, it is done in such a scary way in this version that it just is chilling to watch him come in. Because he comes in, he's Jacob Marley, he's got the chains on him and everything, and his face is wrapped up in this wrap, And when he's taking the wrap off of under his jaw, when he takes the last part of it off, his jaw pops down and makes a cracking noise because he's dead. It's been closed, and it's just chilling. It's just a very good version of A Christmas Carol. The Ghost of Christmas Past is played by Donald Pleasant's daughter, from Halloween, Donald Pleasance. His daughter plays the Ghost of Christmas Past. The Ghost of Christmas Present in this film is played by the guy who played the Equalizer, Edward Woodward, on television as the Equalizer. Great Irish actor. He's great as the Ghost of Christmas Present. And the Ghost of Christmas Past in this film is just a black hooded figure with skeleton arms, and it only makes these horrible squeaking, shrieking noises when it's trying to communicate with it. It's scary, too. It's probably the scariest version of A Christmas Carol that I've ever seen. It's fantastic. So Christmas Carol is great. We'll have more movies and TV productions to talk about when we come back. And my favorite year of Christmas was 1978. And I'll tell you what I got for Christmas in 1978. It was the best year for Christmas for me as a kid. I'll never forget it as a kid and even as an adult. Vicky on there. We'll be back. Merry Christmas.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah. It's Christmas, a time for celebration, a time of goodwill to all men. All, that is, except one.
Those of us with means should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute.
Ebenezer Scrooge, a man whose contempt for others,
Mr. Cratchit,
is matched only by his greed and lust for wealth.
Christmas comes but once a year, sir. Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December.
But Scrooge is about to be taught a lesson he'll never forget.
You will be haunted by three spirits.
I think I'd rather not.
Charles Dickens' immortal tale is brought to life as you've never seen it before.
I am the ghost of Christmas past. You will see yourself.
Ebenezer Scrooge!
You are more worthless and less fit to live than millions like this poor man's child.
I fear you more than any specter I've seen.
I will not be the man I must have been but for this visitation. Why show me this if I am past all hope?
Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, with an all-star cast including Frank Finlay, David Warner, Susanna York, Edward Woodward, Nigel Davenport, Joanne Whalley, and George C. Scott as Ebenezer Scrooge. A Christmas Carol.
Merry Christmas to everybody, and a Happy New Year to the world!
Breakfast, that's a fact. Starting off with Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks, Apple Jacks. There's a real apple that's what it packs. Apple tasty, crunchy too. Kellogg's Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks, Apple Jacks.
Apple Jack cereal from Kellogg's. Part of your good breakfast.
Apple Jacks, Apple Jacks.
Hey, we're back. It's BK on the air. It's our Christmas show. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. I talked earlier in the program today about a story we all enjoyed, at least Alan and I, and a lot of you out there did too, love the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie, TV movie they made, Rankin Bass. That was made in 1964, by the way. It's that old.
I love when
it was already old when we started watching it.
We found out it took a year and a half to make that stop frame animation because you just have to you move, take a picture. Tiny bit, move, take a picture. And so much work.
Moved King Kong the same way back in the day. And also up until 1980, they used the AT-AT walkers in Star Wars. A lot of the stop motion was still around.
Heck, it was heading into the early 90s with Jurassic Park. They had already done all the tests with Go Motion, but still the same technology. Yeah, it was until 93 when all of a sudden we got, hey, a computer can do this a lot nicer.
And they were all out of a job and had to learn a new way of doing it. Well, I've got a story about Rudolph right here that Alan and I had no idea this was true. Listen to this, and let's see if you know.
Do you want to reset this about
and
the
has heard this.
Pickaxe?
Yeah. When if you watch Rudolph, you notice that Yukon Cornelius would throw a pickaxe up in the air, and it would land in the snow or the ground, and he would pick it up and taste of the pickaxe and go, nothing.
Nothing.
Well, as kids, as you probably out there assumed that he was doing, is Yukon, he can taste gold or silver or something, so he knows what it tastes like. That's what he's looking for. Well, that's not actually the case, and here's the story behind it. And I cannot believe I went this long about knowing about trivia and did not know this. The version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer you've been watching on TV all these years is actually wrong, or at least this part is. If you grew up watching Rudolph on CBS all those years, you've actually seen an incorrect version of the movie. Given the changing needs of commercials, networks, mostly recently CBS, they have shown the movie without all of its scenes, including a few confusing moments, particularly in the mysterious moment Yukon Cornelius licks his pickaxe. Quote, CBS and various powers that be do not care, television historian Rick Goldenschmidt, who has become an expert in the production company behind Rudolph the Rankin Bass, he told Huffington Post, adding, Rudolph has been treated shabbily, unquote, over the years.
Oh.
In an article for TV Party, Goldschmidt wrote that he considers a moment called the Peppermint Mine scene to be the most significant deleted scene. It comes right after Rudolph guides Santa through the air, we all know it, to the island of misfit toys. Rudolph's parents, Donner and Mrs. Donner, Rudolph's girlfriend, Clarice and Cornelius, are featured, while Donner says, that's my buck, finally confirming Rudolph's dad is no longer ashamed, as the movie reviewer points out. Now, before illuminating in that scene, it finally gives an answer to why Cornelius kept licking his pickaxe through the special. In this deleted scene, Cornelius throws his axe in the air, lets it strike the ground, and then after licking it, he declares, peppermint, what I've been searching for all my life. I've struck it rich. I've got me a peppermint mine. Woohoo! Unquote. That's what he says. Yukon Cornelius didn't have a bizarre talent for recognizing the taste of gold or silver. He was licking his axe to see if it tasted like peppermint. The peppermint mine scene has not been on TV since 1964, Goldschmidt explains, also saying the special as it airs on CBS is not right. However, the peppermint deleted scene is on the DVD and the Blu-ray if you happen to have those versions, just the original version. Goldschmidt, who also has written a definitive book called Rudolph, is frustrated that CBS doesn't put this scene, along with others, back into the broadcast, or whoever's broadcasting it this year. I know that a Charlie Brown Christmas is being shown on PBS this year, not CBS, so CBS isn't airing a lot of them, but they may still be showing Rudolph. I'm not sure. Talking about the current iteration of the TV broadcast, Goldschmidt said it's like a grade school kid edited, while additionally finding frustration in how the movie has been time compressed and the sound quality warbles on multiple songs when you watch it on its airings. In 1998, Goldschmidt teamed up with Arthur Rankin Jr., the original producer, and found additional lost footage, which the two copyrighted, by the way, the footage. According to Goldschmidt, he notified DreamWorks, the current holder of the movie's distribution rights, of this new material and hasn't had any luck with convincing them to do a full restoration. Rudolph is as iconic as the Wizard of Oz, he states, yet it gets treated very poorly. If you want to learn more about how Rudolph came together, check out his book, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, The Making of the Rankin Bass Holiday Classic. Look it up here. It's a very good read. I even want to read it myself. So that's how it plays out. I don't know why that ties in with peppermint. Is it like because of York peppermint patties or something like that? Or maybe peppermint candy was a sponsor canes back in the day? Yep. But it's peppermint. I did not know that.
Yeah, had you given me, you written out 7 answers and peppermint was one, that would have been the last thing I would have picked.
Never would have guessed it. Oh, okay. You get 3 choices. He's either trying to taste for peppermint, gold and silver, or Fireball whiskey. Which do you think it is that he's trying to get? You would never guess peppermint. Either one of those. Yeah, because as a kid we thought it was.
I thought he was looking for
gold and
silver and gold.
Like, does gold have a taste?
There's a whole song for it.
I don't know. Yeah. No, the song doesn't go peppermint.
No, it doesn't.
Peppermint. No,
it doesn't say silver and gold and give me a breath mint.
That's right, which he might need. Well, another movie and TV Christmas movie that I love, probably my number one favorite film of all time for Christmas to me. It was kind of a flop when it first came out. 1983, the Bob Clark directed A Christmas Story came out in 1983 and didn't do very well. I know it was an adaptation of a Gene Shepard book. It didn't do that well when it came out, but over the last many years since 1983 and in its television viewings, A Christmas Story has gained. So isn't that weird how something flops come out and then later on people discover it and it just takes off like crazy?
The leg lamp itself has become so iconic that now, I just saw this the other day for your Star Wars geek fans, a C-3PO leg and the lampshade is R2-D2's dome.
And it works.
And I knew exactly what was being parodied.
All jokes aside, I know people get sick of it. They're like, and I think TBS for a while or TNT does a 24 hours of A Christmas Story, which is fine, which means I can catch it at any moment or leave it and go back and pick it back up from where I was watching it or just watch my copy that I have. But it really is a great Christmas movie. I mean, as much as it's played over and over again and people are sick of it, like some songs, you're like, oh, if I hear that song again, I'm going to kill myself. It is, at its base, take it for what it is. If you've never seen it before, think about it when it was new or you first saw it. It is a great Christmas movie, if not my favorite Christmas movie of all time. Now, I've mentioned a few. I've mentioned A Christmas Story from 1983. I mentioned A Christmas Carol from 1984, and then Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from 1964. There's a whole lot of other movies that are Christmas movies, and I'm not going to name all of them, but I'll rattle off a few here. I have, what is it? Who did this? Entertainment Weekly.
No,
Entertainment Weekly did their top 20 best Christmas movies.
Now, is this of all time?
Where is it? I know I got it in here somewhere. Here it is. Well, it's their favorite. It's their picks for the greatest Christmas movies, and I'll go through them here because I know some of your favorites on here. Number 20 is The Santa Claus from 1994. I guess that's Tim Allen.
That's
right?
good.
Number 19 is Gremlins from 1984. I consider Gremlins a Christmas movie. Number 18, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is number 18. There's 20 of them.
Happy.
There's 20 of them. Number 17, Scrooged is on the list.
It's good.
There's Scrooge.
We can go through these. We go through it quickly.
Number 16, A little movie we like to call Die Hard is number 16.
Should be a lot higher than that.
But at least it's on the list.
But it's on the list.
Number 15, Miracle on 34th Street from 1947 is on the list.
The original black and white.
Number 14, White Christmas with Bing Crosby, by the way, is on there.
Name one movie I've never seen.
And name one, and that's a trivia question, too. I always say, hey, what was the first movie to use the song White Christmas? And people go, oh, it's White Christmas with Bing
not
Crosby.
White
I'm
Christmas.
like, no, it's not. It's the movie he did before that called Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn.
Yeah, which is another great movie to watch.
About the place you stay and get smarter.
With a big neon sign out front. Number 13, The Nightmare Before Christmas is number 13.
I love that movie. It's so
number
quaint.
12, they've got Trading Places on here as the next
Totally forgot
Christmas
about Trading
music
Places.
movie. It takes place really over the Christmas season.
so
It really does.
good.
And I kind of forgot about that, too. We both forgot. Number 11, Home Alone, which still have not seen to this day. I've not seen Home Alone.
You didn't have kids like this the right age when it came out.
I didn't understand. But you know what I just saw? And I think it's on the list, and I'll tell you here as we approach the movie. Number 10, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from 1964. This is actually a pretty good list here. The order may be a little questionable, but
Right.
I do like the list.
So far, I'm liking the list.
Number 9, A Year Without Santa Claus from 1974. I do remember that movie. Mickey Rooney does these the
That's
voice in
another
it.
one of the Rankin Bass,
Rankin
right?
Bass movies, yeah. Number 8, Muppets Christmas Carol. Number 8. There you go. We're still counting them down, and they're still a good group of movies. Number 7. See, I haven't seen this one either, but it's not a family film. Bad Santa is number 7, but I guess it is a Christmas movie, so it's rated R, isn't it? So,
Billy Bob Thornton. It's I can't believe the whole time I saw it, I was like that the parents of the kid who's with him. I'm like,
Right.
you let him be in this movie.
and hear and do all
So
this.
wrong.
You'd have to think about letting one of your daughters do an
I was
acting
just
thing like that.
I get it's a good paycheck, but oh my God.
Got to draw the line somewhere. Like I say, this list is hitting all cylinders, especially with you. Number 6, Love Actually, is on the list. So this is actually a well-rounded movie list. I actually
It's
am
very good
digging
so
this
far,
list.
yes.
Number 5, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. They're hitting on every one of them they need to hit. Number 7, here's a movie that I only just recently saw. Did you know I hadn't seen Elf until last week? I've gone how many years since 2003 without seeing Elf?
I haven't seen it yet, but I want
Oh,
to.
you haven't seen it either? Well, I don't feel so bad then.
No.
It's cute. It's cute. I liked it. It
keep
was
being
okay.
told that even if you don't like Will Ferrell as a lead, there's something about him playing goofy works in this one.
It's Christmassy charming. And it's directed by Jon Favreau, too, so you know it's entertaining.
That helps.
Number 3, A Charlie Brown
Wait, we were
Christmas.
at number 7. Wait, was that 6?
That was number 4. Elf was number 4.
What was number 5?
Number 5 was How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Okay,
Number
okay.
6 was Love Actually.
Okay.
Number 3 is A Charlie Brown Christmas. Okay.
Oh.
Came out a year before I was born.
It may be a little higher on the list than I would like it, but it belongs on the list.
It belongs on the list. Number 2, A Christmas Story, one of my favorite movies. And you want to take a stab at what the number 1 Christmas movie on their list is? If you think really hard, you'll get it because you actually talked about it, I think, on your show earlier today. Somebody's calling in on the line, but they're going to have
It's
to call
got to
back
be
'cause
It's
we're
a
going to break.
Wonderful Life.
Number 1, Christmas movie of all time, according to Entertainment Weekly, It's a Wonderful Life from 1946. There you go, right there. What a Christmas list.
That is
I actually
actually
like that list.
If you have to give somebody a list of 20 Christmas movies, even in whatever order, that's a good list
That's
of
a
20.
really good, because sometimes they'll come out with lists, and I'm like, who made this list? An 8-year-old that can't write? Who made this list
It's a good
of these
list.
things? That is a good list. I would put, and I'm not even going to do my usual, well, I would have put so-and-so on there instead of that. I'm not even going to say that because that's such a well-running list. I don't want to
That may be
ruin
one
it.
of the best printed lists
It
you've
is.
ever found.
Bravo Entertainment Weekly, and Merry Christmas. Speak down there. We'll come back with more Christmas stuff and fun when we come back.
To my big brother George, the richest man in town. That's a Christmas present from a very dear friend of mine.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence.
Hey, this Christmas party is getting a little too quiet. I think it's time we liven it up with my favorite Christmas gift, Mr. Microphone.
Hey, what's that?
Well, you set the dial on your FM radio and testing.
I'm on the radio.
These kids are having a fabulous time with Mr. Microphone, the cordless microphone that actually puts your voice on the radio. There are no attaching wires, so you're free to move around. Broadcast over any FM car radio.
Hey, good looking. We'll be back to pick you up later.
You can broadcast in mono or with two or more radios in stereo.
Professional entertainers use Mr. Microphone for rehearsing. and you can too.
Walgreens, Woolworth, Wilco, Osco, Obi, Wish, Neville, Montgomery Ward. Go for Will Senior Globe.
Hey, we're back. You know what? While we're doing it, someone's calling in right now.
Last show of the year.
Last show of the year. Let's find out who it is. Hey, it's Beaky on the air. Hello, who is this?
Hey, it's Eric.
Eric, Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas, buddy.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Oh.
Did I hear one of you say that you've never seen Home Alone?
I think there's icicles.
Yeah, that would be Barry, who has never seen Home Alone.
Yeah, I just didn't have any interest in seeing it.
And the other one of you has never seen Elf?
That would be me.
And I didn't see Elf until this past week.
Now, Alan.
Yeah?
I'm ashamed of you.
Well, you wouldn't be the first.
Barry?
That
Yes?
list is long and distinguished.
Yes, Eric?
I come to expect it from you.
Well, I saw Elf last week.
But what?
But Home Alone. Eric.
Yes, Home Alone.
Eric, you've known me. You've listened to me for a long time. How many times have you heard me say, I like Will Ferrell in small roles, but I can't stand him as a lead? Every time I see him as a lead, it's too much. And that's why I didn't see Elf. But I am going to go see it.
I mean, yeah, but it's your life story.
It's my life story?
I mean...
Wow. By the way, Eric, I have a story here that might tie into Alan. There's something that you can get for someone that likes movies and stuff. An old movie has now been remastered and is on DVD and Blu-ray, starring Fred Ward. It's Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins. Did you know that?
Oh, yes, I heard that.
Yeah, it's got a lot of extras on it and stuff.
I had to laugh. I had to laugh.
Why'd you laugh?
Because you, Barry, are the anti-tuned. And, of course, Alan is the next Remo Williams.
Okay. I mean, well, it's all
You're
right.
the anti-tune. And I'm the reboot of Williams.
Wow. Well, you know what? I've been called a lot worse than that, so that's okay. That's fine.
Yes.
I'll take it. Merry
I
Christmas.
had to chuckle.
Eric, it's so good having you out in the audience. I really do wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, buddy. And I found
you guys.
I found out who you remind me of. I was watching Planet of the Apes a couple of weeks ago, and wait, stay with me. Hold on. One of the astronauts in Planet of the Apes, watch the original one with Charlton Heston. One of them reminds me of you, and you'll know which one I'm talking about when you watch. Because he's got a beard, and I'm like, he reminds me of Eric. It's not Cornelius. It's not any of the other characters. Hey, call us on New Year's Day and tell us what you got for Christmas, okay?
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Because we are off on Christmas Day. There's no show, and we won't be here, so that is really cool.
It feels weird to say it's only the 18th, and yet this is the last show of 2021.
Doesn't it, though? Well, there's a lot going on Christmas music-wise. I queued up a lot of Christmas music, so I do want to sneak in a little snippet of another Christmas song that I love playing on Christmas for obvious reasons. And it's a wonderful Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Okay.
This is ridiculous.
Little Silent Night with Chewbacca.
Not so silent the way he sings
Not
it.
so silent the way he sings it. But getting back to Christmas, let me tell you about 1978. I got some of the best things for Christmas in 1978. That year sticks out with me. Now, not just this only, but one of the things I got for Christmas made me so excited that I could hardly contain myself.
Here's the Star Wars X-Wing Fighter and the Star Wars TIE Fighter. Spaceships and Luke Skywalker sold separately. Batteries not included.
I'll get you this time. Reactivate X-Wings.
Both with flashing lights and sound.
Hey, there go the solar panels. And Darth Vader got away. Force is with
Skywalker wins again.
Kenner's Star Wars X-Wing Fighter, TIE Fighter, and action figures all sold separately.
From Kenner. If anybody told you that they got a bunch of Star Wars toys for Christmas in 1977, they don't remember properly or they're lying because they didn't start coming out until 1978, which was the next year. And the X-Wing fighter, when I ripped that package open and I saw that Luke Skywalker X-Wing fighter for Christmas, I was so happy. There was 2 other gifts that year that I got for Christmas in 1978. I opened the next package and I noticed my mom, we had been in one of the toy stores in the mall back in 77 or 78, and I saw in this glass case they put the more special toys in a glass case behind the counter, and I saw there was a company called Dinky who made die-cast metal toys made out of metal, and there was an Enterprise from Star Trek, a Dinky die-cast metal Starship Enterprise in that glass case, and I'm like, Mother, I would love to have a Dinky USS Enterprise for Christmas along with anything else you might get me. That would be great. It would make me the happiest kid in the world. So, along with that X-Wing fighter, I opened a box that contained the Dinky die-cast metal Starship Enterprise. And I forgot. I was going to bring it today in the studio and show it to you. Well, no, I have a replacement. Commander Clark got me one for Christmas many years ago when my old one was destroyed. Because Kirk set the self-destruct sequence on it.
In the great sister debate.
It blowed itself up, yeah. 770-386-1450 is the number. Hey, someone else is on the air. Hello, on the line.
It's this old guy again.
It's the old guy again. Hey, old guy.
I'm listening to 2 of the favorite DJs to ever bless the airways.
That's cool.
Well, you got the jockey part of it anyway.
Alan's got the jockey part. He can ride a horse in the race.
I'm small enough.
I'm small enough. See, he doesn't even deny anymore. He's like, yeah, I'm small. I know. I made peace with it.
Actually, I love hanging out with jockeys. I'm the biggest guy in the room.
And I love it when we go to the Christmas party at WBHF because when Kevin Carroll's in the room, I'm a small guy, and it makes me feel small, and I like that. It's great.
But see, you're talking about getting your X-Wing fighter. My mom, she was going to be really hip with me, and I wanted the hot battle planet and the Tauntaun.
Oh yeah, that was great too.
I was really, really tickled. And the next present she opened, she said, "I guess Santa brought you something to play on that planet with." She had found me Mego Star Trek characters. I had Spock and Kirk.
Oh wow! That's you could cross the universes together and make them all play together. Brian, that is great. To this day, I never got it, but to this day, I still would like to get the Death Star playset from Kenner. I wanted that so bad. That was such an expensive toy back in the day, where it had 3 levels of the Death Star with a trash compactor and everything for your action
wanted
figures.
The Millennium Falcon.
I got really lucky because I come out with it, and I got one of the originals. The trash monster was actually an odd purple color.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yes, he was green after that.
Well, Steve, keep listening. I'm going to name one more thing I got for Christmas in 78, buddy. Keep listening and have a Merry Christmas.
Later, you too, Barry.
Thank you. Bye-bye. The third present that I opened in 1978 that was under the tree, I ripped it open, and yep, there it was, because I'd seen commercials for it on television, and Mom obviously saw my reaction to it. When I saw the commercials, was Stretch Armstrong. Stretch Armstrong, Star Wars X-Wing fighter, and the dinky 1978 Starship Enterprise die-cast metal. How much better of a Christmas could it ever get after that?
It was a pretty good year, huh?
I've got some great things after that for Christmas, but for some reason, that one Christmas for me as a kid stands out more than any other year. Now, what was the best thing you ever got for Christmas as a kid?
My year,
Do you
and this
remember?
sounds like such a geek.
No, not coming from you. No, it doesn't.
1983.
83, okay.
My dad had been gone, had been taking some short tours of duty. My mom had to go back to work. So my dad would be gone for 6 months at a time. Things were really tight. He came back home for that Christmas.
Right.
That's the year we got the Commodore 64 full setup.
Oh, a computer.
And I remember giving my dad, I didn't do this when I was like 12 anymore, 13, coming up on 13. I gave my dad a hug. I was so happy because my buddy, Eric, my lifelong friend, had a Commodore 64.
Right.
But I didn't have one. And I still had the Atari 2600. That was it. And I wanted a computer so bad. I wanted the Commodore. And I was like, well, there's no way with things as tight as they are, and 4 kids, and my dad.
That was expensive.
We got the Commodore 64, and not just we got 2 disc drives.
Wow.
And everyone's like, why'd you get 2?
Merry Christmas.
You only need 1. Not if you're copying discs. In the age before copy protection, oh my gosh, became part of groups of people that would share software. It's just awesome.
It's great.
Stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pine till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoicing, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angels' voices. Oh, night divine. Oh, night.
Yes.
When Christ was born.
Steve W. Malden. That's the version of Oh Holy Night that's my favorite, that brings a tear to my eye every time I hear it. I love that
Now
version.
I know what the sound of an animal dying sounds like.
Holy Night. It makes me want to go, oh, Holy Night. What a great song that is.
Cow.
Yeah, so my personal favorite version. Now you have your favorites. I have my personal favorites of that.
I can't even hold it.
Hey, you know what? I mentioned earlier that there's a new film that was entered into the National Registry of the United States. Did you figure out what it was?
No.
Did you hear about it? It was Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, was entered into the National Registry this week. A Star Wars film. I'm sure maybe the other ones have too. If not, they should have been in there first. But they've entered Star Wars Return of the Jedi is now in there. Since we're talking about Star Wars and the X-Wing fighter, and Brian called in and was talking about the Hoth playset. That was another great one, was the Hoth playset and the AT-AT walkers for Kenner. Kenner's toys, I'd like to know how much they actually made on all the Star Wars toys, because they were just so successful. And then once Star Wars popularity was over, like around 1985, 86, up to the late 80s, you couldn't give the Star Wars toys away. It was a dark time for Star Wars, because I remember going through Sears, seeing Star Wars toys marked down 90% for sale. All these original Kenners. They even got to where they took 2 figures and packaged them together in new packaging for the price of 1, because they had all these Star Wars. I guess they made too many of them, but it was all the classic Jedi stuff and Empire Strikes Back, some of it. And you could buy these things. I found a Rancor monster from Return of the Jedi, speaking of that, in the box for $6.
Wow.
At Sears in like 1989.
That was a big one, too.
1989, yeah. Now, if that thing's in the box unsealed, there's no telling what it would bring.
A lot.
But they couldn't give them away back then. So Return of the Jedi, National Film Registry, and deservedly so. It's part of the original 3 trilogy of the Star Wars films, the first ones, 1983. Well, that's it.
Are we done?
We've creeped up to the end of the Christmas. Hey, Alan, I'll see you next year.
Next year, man.
I'll see you in 2022, man.
You can buy your aspirin in volume. Save a lot of money that way.
Your taxes. I'm going to go see Spider-Man No Way Home tonight. I will review it on New Year's Day and let you know what I thought. Maybe Alan might see it, too. Who knows?
I will.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you, buddy. And
Merry
to everybody
Christmas,
else. BK on the air.
Christmas is, well, it's about the best time of the whole year. You walk down the streets even for weeks before Christmas comes. And there's lights hanging up, green ones and red ones. Sometimes there's snow, and everybody's hustling someplace. But they don't hustle around Christmas time like they usually do. You know, they're a little more friendlier. They bump into you, they laugh, and they say, pardon me, and Merry Christmas. Especially when it gets real close to Christmas night. Everybody's walking home, you can hardly hear a sound. Bells are ringing, kids are singing, snow is coming down. And boy, what a pleasure it is to think that you got someplace to go to. And the place that you're going to There's somebody in it that you really love. Someone you're nuts about. Merry Christmas.